I've been very lucky here in Sunnyvale because the rains that have just been dumping here in California have really soaked up the floor and the ground, and the wind comes in, blows down all the trees, knocks down all the power lines. And yeah, so a lot of people have been without power. And when you don't have any power, you can't power obviously important things. And one of the key things that we take for granted is refrigeration. So this is something that you should have gotten last year, but now it's here. It just launched today, March 23rd, 2023. And that is a powered cooler. Basically, it's a portable fridge, but what sets this one apart is that it is powered via a built-in battery, and it can also be powered via solar. So I believe they have like 3 different models here that are available here on Kickstarter. Link up above, that is an affiliate link. Please use that and get one yourself if you are in one of those disaster zones where basically most of the California is in a disaster zone right now because of these rains. And consider getting something like this for use when there are emergencies. I use it sometimes when I'm going to be out all day long and I got some groceries or stuff that I want to buy and I want to keep it in the car. This is something that is useful. It's just generally useful anytime that you might consider that you either one need a cooler, two you want a backup powered refrigerator. Just could be pretty useful. And even if you don't, while it is not being used for emergency purposes, it could actually be used for just your own little portable fridge. Okay, so how much is this going to cost you? That's one of those things. As we all know, batteries are pretty expensive, right? And then good refrigeration units are also pretty expensive. So this right now, if you do it and you back this project, it'll run you starting at $519. Right? There were super early bird pricing available that dropped it below $500, but this is where we're at right now as you're watching this. We have a few little specials left here, and there's basically 3 different sizes. There's a 30-liter one, a 40-liter, and a dual zone powered cooler 50-liter. I already have a fridge. I think it's worked very well. It has a Danfoss compressor, which for those people who are really nerdy about these type of things, it's basically a really efficient cooling compressor for refrigerators. I don't know what this one is. We'll take a look at it, see if we can try to figure that out. Danfoss is basically the equivalent of what Xerox was for copy machines. You hear Danfoss, it's a type of refrigerator compressor, and you know that it's good. It's got good stuff in there, right? The compressor is good. So what you get with this is you get a battery pack that is not just built in, but also removable, and you can swap them out in the future. I think that's really key important part for a portable refrigeration unit. It's supposed to cool up to 42 hours. That is tremendous. And then more importantly, if you have the solar input of 100 watts going in there, you leave it out during the day and you charge up the battery while it's also cooling down your stuff. It basically can last indefinitely as long as you have sunlight. And I think a big deal with refrigeration units is that you don't need to spend money on ice. Granted, ice is not necessarily expensive most of the time. It's just that ice takes up a lot of space. And what happens when ice melts? It turns into really cold water, and then all the stuff in there then becomes soaked, which is not ideal for many situations. If you're just using it to cool drinks that are sealed, that's probably fine. If you use it for other things like I do, you're just going to basically have a tub of water, and no one really likes to clean that out or empty that. Extreme portability, that remains to be seen. It's a big block is basically what it is. I wouldn't call that extremely portable, but it does have 6-inch wheels on there. It's got a smart app control thing, and I really hope that we'll take a look at it. I really hope that they have, yes, they do. Okay. That they have buttons there that you can just configure yourself without having to use the app. There's nothing worse than having a product that has a defective or default, just a horrible app. If you don't want to use the app, I think having the controls to be able to set up the way you want your refrigerator to work are key. And this does have that right here. Probably not the best buttons in the world. It's going to be a little bit more weather resistant, I think, when you use these type of buttons, but we'll take a closer look at that. So the one I'm particularly interested is the 53-liter one because it has a dual freezer and a fridge. If you feel like you are not going to be using that, you're just basically keeping it all cool versus all frozen, I think getting one of the cheaper ones is a good idea because these things are pretty big. All right. The one that I have is fairly large. You put it in a back and it's basically a big block. So it's not something that I keep in a car all the time. Usually in the summer, that's when something that I keep it on. And of course, I use a separate battery pack to power mine because mine does not have this cool feature, which is a 299 watt hour removable battery. That while it is not being used, okay, you can just take it out and use it like a portable battery pack, which has a 60 watt PD USB-C, which is good enough to charge my MacBook Pro 18-inch. And it has two regular USB-A ports in there so that you can charge your regular smartphones because you don't necessarily need PD for that. So that's really cool. I just wish that this battery pack also had solar input, but I don't. Oh yeah, actually it does right there. So it has the solar input. So it looks like it goes through here. It doesn't have to go through the cooler, I believe. So let's take a closer look at that. There's smart app control, LED display. There's a tray table. I think they're adding something. I saw earlier in this campaign that they're going to be adding some other things here for you to change that. It's not that big of a deal. But a tray table is useful when you're out because, it's one less thing and you're always looking for surfaces to do things on and to cut things up like they're doing right over here, although it's completely exposed. So you're going to want some water source to clean it out by the time you get there. Got a built-in bottle opener. That's useful. That's one less thing you have to worry. Here it is, detachable tray and cup holder. So apparently this is coming soon. It'll probably be an add-on. It says it's designed for trucks, RVs, and SUVs. That makes perfect sense. So the lineup, of course, is you have a 30 Power Cooler 30 actually has a capacity of 33 liters, and then the 40 has a capacity of 43 liters, and the 50 has a capacity of 53 liters. Now, I think that what happens is this area back here, obviously is where we're going to have the compressor, and also the battery sticks in there. So then the top part up here is going to be a 3 liters, and then the rest of it is, of course, the block. Now, the battery type is NCM, which is very popular for use in cars. So just keep that in mind. It's not lithium phosphate, which would make them much bigger. It's not lithium ion exactly, but it has more similarities in that in terms of battery density, and it feels like it's an appropriate choice for a cooler. Now you want to keep in mind the dimensions though, and looks like the differences are just basically in one dimension in terms of how long it is or how wide, depending on what you're looking at. But note the fixed dimensions, 16.9 and 19.1 inches. I do believe 16.9 inches is the height. And then note the weight. These are not lightweight. And this is without the battery. So the battery looks like it runs, 4.9? Okay, basically 5 pounds. The battery's 5 pounds. And then the entire cooler thing's this expensive. This is not something, for instance, that I'm going to expect my wife to be able to load and unload. Actually, even with my lighter one, I don't expect my wife to be loading this or unloading it from our SUV. So keep that in mind. This is one of those things where it's just going to be a little heavier because you are picking up a full-on fridge. I don't know why exactly they call it just a cooler, but it definitely is. So they have some examples compared to some popular brands. Dometic is a big one. All right, I see these all the time. I think these run like $800. I could be wrong. Dometic CFX35. Dometic CFX35. And these run, I'll just go under shopping here. Yeah, they run about $800 to $1,000. They're definitely not cheap. And basically with this, looks like the temperature range doesn't get as cold as the Dometic, but you know what? You get the whole battery capacity. And that's a pretty big deal. And the size-wise is, it's a little bit smaller. So what's interesting is I'm still looking to see what the compressor is, and I don't see that right now. Interesting they put in the Booch RV version in here. I don't know if I would have personally considered the Booch RV because I think Anker would do a better job. But it's interesting that I put that in there. And I do believe that if they did put this in here, I believe the pricing between the Booch RV E45 is going to be comparable to the pricing that Anker's asking for in this campaign. After the campaign's over, it probably will be different. The battery's the same in all the models. They're all 299 watt hours. And I'd really have to wonder what the pricing is going to be for an extra battery pack is going to be. But of course, the good news is you have another battery pack. You can keep this guy running indefinitely too. So you don't necessarily need that. You can use the solar panel. They have a package of the 100-watt solar panel also as an option for you to choose. So here's the dual zone design. One thing I will say about this is I'm looking at the way the doors work, and it's clear to me that Dometic and some other more expensive competitors have a better door. And this is more like a cooler style door. I guess all of this remains to be seen. What the final product is, I'm not sure, but I can tell you right now that I would have preferred the door systems of the more expensive brands. I actually prefer the door system of my current one, which makes it completely removable. And this actually, frankly, looks a little bit like it's going to be some sort of cheap looking plastic on here. Not necessarily a bad thing. I'm just calling it out here. This does not look like a really super high-end product, but functionally, I think it's there. It's got some the XT60 adapter. It's got the cigarette lighter adapter. We probably shouldn't call those now because most people don't have cigarette lighters in there. They're just basically 12-volt barrel, 12-volt cigarette plug adapters. And then, of course, you got the AC adapter here so that you can plug in into the wall outlet or to another battery pack if it doesn't have the cigarette lighter adapter thing plug out. This looks like it's one of those generic ones that are available for multiple brands, which is good. You don't want to create your own proprietary type of plug. It's a 95-watt charger. Now, in my use, I have found that generally after it gets up to the temperature, all right, and this is supposed to get cool in like 30 minutes to a usable temperature with an ambient temperature of 77 degrees, apparently, down to really cool temperatures in 30 minutes. I think that's generally okay, is that I don't see anything that says anything about the compressor. So that is unfortunate. So those are some things that'll probably come up in the questions here. I don't know why they didn't put it here. I think those type of things matter for people who are interested in this stuff. So okay, so here's some frequently asked questions. When will it ship? Ship in June. And now that I think the chip shortage is primarily over, I think we're going to be okay. What countries are going to be available? The price, can I purchase 2 to 3 different coolers? Okay. You got to create multiple Kickstarter accounts. Yeah, I can see that. So here's how long it varies in storage temperatures. 20 hours at 0 degrees Celsius for the model I'm interested in. 20 hours. So if I want it to last 2 days or so, I'm going to have to use one of those bigger battery packs. I can plug in there. This is ambient temperature 77 degrees though, which is pretty warm if it's indoors. How long? 3 sizes. If there's some water and cooler, do I either turn the cooler? No, you can just use the drain at the bottom. Yeah, that's good. Yes, it has light inside. That's good to know. 53-liter version has 2 lids. 33-liter and 43-liter versions have 1 lid. And I really wish that they came up with a different lid that allow you to open from multiple directions or different sides or have it completely detached. But that is a definite. What functions can I use on Anker app? Set temperature, change the temperature unit, and check the voltage. Now, I believe it's going to be via Bluetooth because there's no mention of Wi-Fi whatsoever in here, which is fine because I think that with Bluetooth, you use a lot less power. So you don't want this to be draining power while it's just sitting there and on. How loud is it? 42 decibels. Okay, that's something to note. You can charge it with 100-watt solar panels at max. International, do you offer any discounts? Okay. All right. So that pretty much covers it. Let's do a final look at and see the campaign video just to see. I saw it earlier. It just, it's a lot more lifestyle type of thing than it is any of the technical details. Let's see if we can pull that up again. Here we go.
This is the Anker Everfrost powered cooler. Why do you need the hottest thing in cooling? Imagine this. You planned the perfect weekend getaway. You're ready for fun, surrounded by good company and the gorgeous outdoors. Nothing could ruin this moment, except soggy food, warm drinks, or another run to the store for ice. Not cool, but here's what is. The longest lasting, ice-free cooler that doesn't need cords. Other powered coolers keep food fresh for just a few hours, but Everfrost lasts up to 42 hours at 39 degrees Fahrenheit. At 299 watt-hours, the Everfrost has the largest battery available in a powered cooler. And with just one solar panel, it'll stay charged up 24/7, making it the ultimate cooler for off-grid adventure. At Anker, we believe that technology should allow you the freedom to live life on your own terms. Unlike other electric coolers, the Everfrost isn't tied to a power outlet, so you can explore the great outdoors as you please. And without the need for ice, you'll gain twice the storage space as traditional coolers. With its efficient cooling system, Everfrost takes just 30 minutes to cool from a hot 77 degrees Fahrenheit to a freezing 32. On the move, detach the battery, and you've got a world-class power bank that keeps your devices charged anywhere you go. For
That's a
added
little bit of a
convenience,
cool
the
light
Easy
there on
Go
the
handle
side. Other
doubles
than
as a
that,
prep table. Plus, the Anker app allows you to control and monitor the cooler from a distance. At last, you can enjoy the same foods you love at home wherever you want, even ice cream. For life on the road or off the trails, the Everfrost is portable, powered cooling that stays fresh everywhere you roam. So pop open a cold one and enjoy everlasting coolness. Anytime, anywhere.
all right, just looking at the videos, I gotta say, the product does look a little bit cheap, but it is. Pricing's not crazy at all compared to the competition, so that's something that you get. And I do like that they have a little bit of lighting here. I'd be really interested to see if something like this could be customizable, either via temperature, to give you a quick glance at what the temperature is there, just via the light and configure it that way, or the status of its charging, or any other thing. That'd be really cool to have something that you can see at a glance, and that'd be pretty awesome. But again, I feel like the lid doesn't mention anything about who makes the compressor, which is unfortunate. And then also, I think those are it. The lid, it looks really cheap. It looks like it could potentially be really cheap plastic housing, which is what some of the more expensive brands do really well, make it look more durable and rugged, whereas this and then also some other competitors also have better insulation so that you don't have to keep running off of power. So you could use power a little bit less. So that would be some ways that the competition does a little bit better. But hey, right now, if you can jump in on this right now, the pricing's pretty good. Okay, again, it's $519, $549 for the 40 3-liter, and then $569, and this is dropping fast. Just when I was starting this video or looking into it, there were 90 left. Now there's only 52. All right. Hopefully, if you do get a chance to pledge in this, and by the way, the pledge is fully refundable all the way up until the closing time, which will be in how long? May 7th. So if you change your mind, you ask your questions, put some comments in there, and if you're not happy with the answers that Anker provides about the Anker Everfrost, then you can still refund it. And oh, look at that. Extra battery is $250, which is very reasonable for something that is 300 watt hours. Yeah. All right. So if you're interested, you should back it now. Please use my link. I would really appreciate it. And thank you for watching. I'll catch you next video.